Hi and welcome along to AFTV. We are down here at the sunny Emirates Stadium looking ahead to the big game, Arsenal versus Real Madrid. It doesn't get any bigger than this. I think the biggest game for years here. One of the biggest games ever at this stadium as we take them on in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. But the big question is, who starts that game? We're about to get into the predicted 11. I've got Laurie with me and of course Turkish. And just on that, Turkish, this game is absolutely massive. Can you think of a bigger game here?
Probably Barcelona. Well, not bigger, but it's definitely bigger since that Barcelona one.
Yeah, because I think when we played Barcelona, I can't remember what stage that was at. I'm not sure it was.
Last 16.
It was last 16.
Yeah,
this is the quarterfinals, so this is huge.
I know. And it's been a long-awaited return as well in between. It's the big boys. It's what to be honest, I want to be in Champions League for.
Be excited.
Yeah, it's not about averting. It's not about averting these teams. It's about playing them and finding out a way to beat them. Like over the years, City have done, and have Liverpool done it? I'm not too sure.
What, Real Madrid? Well,
in that run, I can't remember if they had. Well, I'm not sure, but either way, this is what it's all about. So, it might be the biggest. The fans are gonna be. Arteta talked about the fans needing to. Stand up to the occasion. I have no doubts that, the fans in the stadium, unfortunately I couldn't get a ticket. I put all my eggs in the away basket and I'm spending a couple bags on that, so I'm going to miss this one. I'm going to be at Box Park though, we're doing that thing, so but I know what this stadium's going to be like, and that was, the first 5-10 minutes when we're watching it live, you're going to be here, you're going to let us know. It's going to be the best atmosphere we've probably witnessed at this stadium.
Yeah, this place will be rocking, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm jealous if everyone's got a ticket for tomorrow, man. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, I concur with you guys. I can't think of a bigger game that Arsenal have been involved with for a long, long time.
Yeah, absolutely massive game. But the big question is, who is going to start in this game? I won't waste time on the goalkeeper because unless he's carrying an injury, it's rare. Right, unless he gets the penalties, I'm not too sure if he's in goal for the penalties, the way I see him handling penalties recently. But listen, we know outfield, he's been absolutely brilliant this season. Who plays right back?
I think I know what the team's going to be, but we'll start there. Timber. I think Timber.
All right, you know what I want to do, right? It's like, you can tell me what you think the team's going to be and what you would like as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
is that what you'd like as well? Timber at right back?
Yeah. That would be my choice, and I think that's going to be Arteta's choice.
Okay.
Agreed. Timber, I mean, Timber's been sensational this season. I'll give him even more plaudits because for a lot of that time he's been playing through injury. And he's every time, I mean, I'm struggling to think of him ever having a bad game. I mean, he's had games when he's not quite hit the heights, but he's one of my most reliable players. So definitely if Timber's fit.
Very consistent this season. And of course, he did go down with that knock last week here, and there was a big worry that he could be out of this game, but it looks like he's fully fit. He did come on against Everton, so he's good. Left back.
Miles Lewis-Skelly, man. He's the man in possession right now, and he's, listen, the rise has been meteoric, and what this young man has shown is that every time he's been asked to step up, he does that. I wouldn't say a downside, but he has an errors in him, which is only, to be expected given that he's so young and relatively inexperienced. But I back him, man. I back him.
Okay, would you go Miles Lewis-Skelly? I mean, listen, he's going to be up against some of the best wide players that exist in the world. In Vinicius Juniors, Mbappe, sometimes they swap over. Rodrigo could come into play as well. Now, we know he has been brilliant, but he has been prone to, I thought he was very unlucky at the weekend, but it was his initial error in misjudging the flight that led to him getting into problems.
Yeah, it has to be expected from such a young player, because he really did hit the ground running and he was immaculate. He was immaculate for games on end. Before, a few moments, harsh moments at that, when we're talking about the red card and we're talking about this particular incident in terms of the penalty. The more I watch it, the harsher I do feel, more I agree that, but at the same time, you are right, we could have cut out even that moment happening. But he deserves his spot. He would be my choice without a shadow of a doubt.
You would never shout in for maybe a Kieran Tierney, a bit more experience? What?
It's not a bad shout with Tierney, but because MLS he's one of our better ball carriers in the team as well. Like
Yeah.
he's one of the players I see go from left back through the midfield, whether it's
That
on
run
the
he
ball
did
or
on
off the
Saturday is
ball.
brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we've
Yeah.
seen that a few times. That was just the pick of the bunch, and this is just his maiden season. So I feel, yeah, Tierney. I love Tierney. Always have loved Tierney. You know, the end is coming. Few games to go now of the season, but I think MLS deserves his
Okay.
spot in the side. So yeah, my
Right.
choice and Arteta's choice.
Okay, I think this is the big one for everybody. Who are your centre-back pairing? Your centre-back pairing, and then also what you think he's going to go with if that's different to, you know,
Yeah.
if that's different to what you feel Arteta will go with. What is your centre-back pairing for this game?
I'll definitely go Saliba and Ben White. I just feel more assured with those two names. Now, don't get me wrong, Ben White had a moment or two the other day, and yeah, we can look at that and say it's risky, he doesn't seem quite ready, and I agree with all those points, but I also think Kiwior's risky in a different way. I know he's more 100% fit and ready, but I think he possesses his own risk in terms of
Man in the match on Saturday.
I mean, you know, if that man of the match, they came out and said, you know, we're not going to give it to anyone today, I don't think anyone would have been surprised. I don't think there would have been an uproar about it. But he got it. But I just feel like, you know, mobility-wise, you look at Real's attack, I'd much prefer Ben White next to Timber, where Timber can protect Ben White a little bit, and Saliba next to Lewis Skelly, where Saliba can protect Lewis Skelly. When all of a sudden Kiwior and Lewis Skelly on that side, because they both pose risks of their own in terms of age, Lewis Skelly and what we just said about occasion, and Kiwior in terms of quality overall. Kiwior and Lewis Skelly, it just doesn't sound right to me against Real Madrid. So I'd be doing Saliba, Ben White, but Arteta will go Kiwior or Saliba.
Right, what would you go?
I'm going to respectfully disagree with my man here, Turkish. I think Saliba is a no-brainer at right centre-back. But left centre-back, I'm going Kiwior. The reason being, he's a left centre-back by trade. As you guys said, he got man of the match on Saturday. Okay, he didn't blow things out of the water. And we know he has in the past made errors, etc., etc. But given what we've got at the moment, I think he's the best fit. I think Ben White, a lot of people are going for him through name recognition recently, because you have to admit that Ben White, he's been out injured, he's come back. I don't think he's quite back to his optimum level, and I think it'd be too much of a risk. So I
Okay.
would go with Kiwior.
In that number 6 position, the holding midfielder?
It's got to be Thomas, man.
Yeah.
He's been one of our best midfielders this season. He's there on merit, and yeah, he's got to play.
Same for you?
I agree, and I think it will be, yeah.
Okay, and then next two side of him?
Rice and Odegaard. I just think the midfield, because of the lack of updates across the season and where we need to use Marino now, I think the midfield, you know, picks itself. Jorginho got a start on the weekend. Yeah, nice, but Partey's been overall probably our most consistent midfielder. I think second half of the season, Rice has stepped it up and probably been our best in the second half. Odegaard needs to step it up because we need
This is the game we need him,
we
innit?
need a patch from him this season. If it starts now and then it ends in the Champions League, then we'll all forget about the first 7 months of it where he has been underwhelming. So yeah, I think the midfield three. My choice, Arteta's choice.
Yeah, I mean, Rice, listen, man, Rice on his day is he's outstanding, potential match winner. So yeah, that goes without saying. Odegaard, now listen, I'm one of those. I'm a big admirer of Odegaard when he's on form, but for whatever reason this season, I know he had the injury and stuff, but his loss of form has been kind of mind-boggling to me, because the injury, let's be honest, was some weeks ago. And
Months ago.
Yeah, well, months ago, and he's not really stepped up. I mean, I'm hoping that changed tomorrow, but we really do need something from him if we're going to beat Madrid, and maybe the fact that he used to be at Real Madrid and such a big game and he's the captain, hopefully that'll inspire him tomorrow, but he does need to step his levels up.
Yeah, I mean, Sol Campbell, when I saw him on Saturday, and he spoke about these sort of games being that if you're a top player or you consider yourself a top player, these are the games you want, and these are the games where you do step up, right? Because you shouldn't be shy of these games. This should be the absolute game that you want. So players like Odegaard and Declan Rice, who is a top performer, he should be really rearing to go in a game like this, shouldn't he?
Yeah, this is what it's all about, man. You know, we've done well to get back to this level, but it's not good enough yet because we haven't won anything. And listen, this is the one that's evaded us even through our greatest of eras. But this is what it's all about. Real Madrid, Champions League, under the lights, Emirates, new look Bernabeu. 2 games that, regardless of what else happened in the season, can define it.
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
and we're not the best team in Europe this season. We're far from it. You know, over the last couple of years, there might have been a say in that, but this season we haven't been. That doesn't matter. This game is 90 minutes tomorrow night.
But on that, I don't think Real Madrid have been at their best this season either.
No, they haven't. They're 6 off in the league or 9 off in the league. But the thing
Lost
about
at the
it
weekend.
is they lost at the weekend. I don't think that's a good thing. They got booed off too. I don't think that's a good thing. But at the same time, it's, you know, the players will be feeling that. More often than not, when that happens, you do see some sort of a bounce back. But we've got to use that emotion in our favor. We've got to be the unit we've been in the last couple of years under Arteta, but also just go and take that risk. There's been a lot of talk about robotic games, and there's been a lot of talk about the standard of it in the league this season. We've been a part of that too, so it'd be nice, you know, hold it first and foremost, get into the game slowly. If you can nick something, but
I think
make it
mindset
a fight for
equally
2
important,
games.
you know? I actually think mindset is going to play a big part in this because, listen, Real Madrid, the respect speaks for itself. 15 times champions, we know what they're all about. But if you take a closer look at their record this season, Robbie, I think you find they've lost 10 times this season already, right, in different competitions. So they're far from unbeatable.
Okay.
We're at home, it's a massive game. If the players turn up, I think they can get it done.
Okay, front 3, guys. What you want to see, what you think we'll see. Let's start with you, Turkish.
I want to see Saka, Marino, Martinelli.
Okay.
Because nothing else was really tested in the rehearsals leading up to it. Obviously, Trossard started last one, but I think that's to keep Marino fresh. And Marino probably deserves it. His goal to minute ratio since going up top has been, you know, second to none in this side anyway, when you look at our last couple of strikers. So he deserves it. And I think with Saka back, Martinelli back, you know, it's the best front 3 we could probably put out there. Now, Trossard is the better player, better false 9 overall, and probably bigger threat. But Marino showed in moments. You know, Arteta likes the tall, physical striker. In Havertz, that's what we played around going into this season. So Marino's the obvious fit. Yeah, it's Trossard off the bench then. But yeah, Marino up top, Saka, Martinelli.
Agreed. I think, like Turkish said, the front 3, which I think the manager will go for, and probably our best front 3 right now, is Saka, Mourinho, and Martinelli. Martinelli, by the way, is in good form. Saka's coming back, as we know, and I think Mourinho, he's there on merit. And one thing I would say, the guys on the bench, the likes of your Trossard, Waineris, people like that, they will have a big part to play. I would imagine they will get minutes. So let's hope that if they do come off the bench, or when they do come off the bench, they can be the impact that the manager's seeking.
Yeah, I agree with you guys on the Marino thing. I mean, there is that debate, should he be the one starting down the middle? Like you said, he's been scoring the goals. You know, and other thing I feel, I've said this a couple of times, that I feel about him is that he's played against Real Madrid multiple times. He's not going to have, it's not that he won't fear them, of course, everybody is going to fear them. He won't have the same fear factor as some players who've never played against them before. He's played against Real Madrid before, in the Bernabeu, away from home, multiple times over the years. He plays with a lot of these players, or some of these players at international level as well. I don't think he's going to be fazed by that. If anything, he'll be driven to do well as a Spanish player. So I think, you know, it's a no-brainer to start him down the middle. But we're going to find out tomorrow what the team is going to be, right? And it's going to be very, very interesting. I do think it's going to be very close to what these guys are suggesting. I think where it's going to be really interesting is who do they go with? Kiwior or Ben White? I think that's the one that's up for debate. Is it Kiwior or Ben White in there? That's going to be really interesting to see in that 11 tomorrow. Don't forget, we're doing this big watch party at the Box Park in Shoreditch. You haven't got a ticket for the game, and I know a lot of people haven't been able to get it. It's like gold dust. You can get down there, but you must get in contact with them first. Go onto their website, links in the description, and get along there. We're doing a big watch party there, and we'll be doing the starting 11. As soon as that comes out, it will be us doing it down there, and it's going to be coming live from the Box Park. This place is going to be rocking, and we cannot wait. Arsenal versus Real Madrid. It doesn't get any bigger than this. This is the reason why I hope it's the reason why we moved to this stadium for these type of games. Now let's go and win it.